Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here for our show. And I wanted to welcome Michael to join me today. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I assume a lot of people saw our interview in the channel. And so they got to know you a little bit. And what we wanted to do today is kind of tuning into the energies of the chat and the people that were in the community and kind of tuning into their energies and to the energies of the loved ones that are in spirit. But maybe before we get started, maybe just a couple questions, just so we people understand a little bit how you work, and what has been kind of your experience as a medium. And so maybe you can share a little bit kind of your way of working. What happens in a traditional reading? Obviously, today we're dealing with a chat of energies from people, which is not what a traditional reading is, but maybe understanding kind of how do you work in a traditional reading? Do people ask questions, or they let you bring their loved ones? I think that might be a bit interesting to do that before we dive in.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you for having me on here. I'm excited to get to connect with your audience and with you. It's always a pleasure to get to be here with you. So, thank you for that. I'm going to be working in a little bit of a way that it feels maybe unusual to the normal way that I work. So normally in a reading, when someone can understand the information, um, I'll bring them up onto the live with me so that I can get a very quick yes or no if they can understand it. And so because today we're working through the text, it is a little bit of a slower process just because it takes time for the text to show up and all of that sort of thing. So it requires me to focus a little bit harder on maintaining my link with the communicator while I'm waiting for the response. So I'm going to do my best today with just kind of giving you whatever I'm experiencing and whatever is coming up for me. So basically, the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to start to become sensitive. As I become sensitive, I'll start to feel the presence of a loved one in spirit. As I feel a loved one in spirit, I'm going to begin to describe who I have here with me. What I generally do when I do my lives, because I go live pretty much every Monday, and we'll do online readings and things like that. So the online piece isn't uncomfortable for me. It's more so just having to wait for the chat is always the harder type of doing the reading. So what I will do is I'll describe who I have. If you can understand the information when the time comes, I'm going to have you put hearts in the chat. So you're going to put a heart in the chat, and that will tell me that you are taking some of the information. Now, I try to be as specific as I can, especially when we have a lot of people in the chat room and who are coming forward. So it's going to be helpful for me that as I give information, wait until I check it and wait until I say, who can understand this? And if you can take 95 to 100% of the information, then I want you to put a heart in the chat. Otherwise, just listen and just observe. If there's any piece, there's going to be pieces of information that I give that will have to make sense to you. And I will say, this has to make sense for you. Otherwise, it's not for you. If there are pieces of information that I feel are kind of I'm not very sure on, like I'm getting part of it, I'm not fully understanding it, I will say that, and I'll say, okay, that piece you don't have to worry so much about. If it's slightly off, I don't really care, because I just may be not getting it exactly. But there's definitely going to be the majority of what I need you to be able to take before I go, okay, I'm going to be working with this person. So once I identify who I'm working with, what I'd love for you to do is to hold all the comments. Try not to say anything, because except for the person receiving the reading. That way it's easy for us to know what the responses are. If everybody's spamming, the chat and writing a bunch of things, that's going to make it really hard for us to kind of follow. And I know, Nate, you're going to be helping me with
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to be posting or bringing it up on the screen.
I will bring up on the screen. Yes, and maybe
Fabulous.
just for the our group here is the way that I conduct readings, so you understand a little bit, we're working in a different way. Usually people ask me questions and I take those questions one by one and I answer them one by one. It's almost like a push system. With Michael, we're working a little bit of a different way with a pull system where there's an energy that comes to him, and we're trying to identify who you are in this audience that can connect with this energy. And so that's a little bit different where people from the other side will come through, and it will talk to some of you. If it talks to you, please put it in the chat that it relates to you, a heart, or me, I can relate to this information. And as Michael brings more information through, we'll be able to narrow down the person for whom this message is for. So it's a very different way of me doing my readings in the past. It's about who is coming forward and for whom. So I hope that makes sense. And maybe
Yes.
we can get started whenever you. Yes.
Yeah, we call that spirit led. So we're letting the spirit lead who
Yes.
the communication is for, rather than going direct, which would be I would go to a specific person and I'd ask you, or I would tell you who is here for you. So
Yes.
the reason that I prefer to do this is a couple of reasons. Number one, when I'm doing a demonstration is it keeps everybody engaged because if I just go, okay, I'm picking user 7654, suddenly everybody's checked out because now they're not really paying attention to what's being given. So the power and what is being built by everybody watching matters. And so your engagement, your interest, your attention is going to keep that power strong, and I'll be able to get more information. If I'm not getting, oh, sorry, just totally lost my train of thought. I think I'm starting to get a little bit sensitive here. So sorry, I'm going to go back because I'm starting to feel something and I need to stay focused here for a second. So that's one of the reasons why I like to do that. It keeps everybody engaged. The second reason is that it is just a different way to work. It's just a different way of getting it. And we're still going to narrow it down to a single person, and I'm going to be communicating with that person. But in this way, everybody's kind of engaged. Everybody's connected to kind of the process. And then the next message might be for you. The next message might be for someone else. So that's a really, really helpful thing. So it may feel a little bit different at first, but all I need you to do is to listen. And if you think you can take the information, I do want you to engage. When I say take the information, I mean, I'm describing a loved one in spirit that you have. So I want to be really clear about that because I'm not sure the level of experience everybody has with mediumship. So I'm specifically speaking and describing deceased people. I'm not talking about you in your life, unless I say so, in which case I'll say, this is something that's happening to someone right now, and you would understand this information. So I'll be really clear about that. But just so you know, when we're initially making our link, I'm referring and describing the person in spirit, unless I say otherwise. And so what I want you to do is to listen to the pieces of evidence. And if it makes sense to you, I want you to put a heart in the chat when I ask. So I'm going to give you several pieces of information to start with. And then I want you to listen to it. It should be 95 to 100% of what I'm saying should make sense to you. Okay. There's a lot of people. And so we want to make sure that I'm with the right person. If I do start working with you and suddenly it's not making sense, I may not be with you. So I may have to move on to someone else. So just be aware that that may happen and that someone else might speak up. And hopefully you do. If you think it's for you, please do say something, because nothing's worse than I'm doing a demonstration and then nobody's taking the information, or someone starts to and then they don't. And then at the end of the demonstration, someone messages me or comes up to me and goes, hey, that was for me. And I can't go back to the whole audience and be like, hey, it was for someone, that one that, they're like, I was just too shy to say something, or, so please do, if you think it is for you, listen carefully. And then once I narrow it down, I'm going to say, I'm going to work with this person now. That's when I just want you to pay attention to what I'm giving. And I'm going to have a conversation with that person specifically. And then we'll wrap up that reading and then we'll move forward. Okay.
Thank you. Which means like every single one of you has an opportunity to have someone on the other side to come forward. But in order to know who that person is, we have to have Michael give us the clues in terms of who his feeling is here. That's how we work. So it's very different from the way I work because I'm taking question after questions. I think Michael explained very well. It's spirit led, so it's whoever spirits wants to connect to. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. So if that works for everybody, if you are a person who doesn't want a reading, or let's say that this all is making sense to you, but you don't want to hear from that person, or you don't want that information, go ahead and put in the chat. I can take 100% of this. I don't want to have a reading though. So that way it's not just hanging out there and like it's all making sense to you, but you're not taking it, and therefore we're kind of lost on who it's for. Okay.
Thank you.
Does that all make sense? Can we get some thumbs up or acknowledgement that we are understanding it and we want to be
People
here
understand
to
the process. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So then we're going to go ahead and get started. And Nate, I'll just have you kind of be the sort of, I'm going to kind of ignore the chat to some degree, and we will go from there. When I do check in, sometimes it is helpful if you go, I can take 95, I can take 100% with your heart. That's also can be helpful as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to do, though, is I want to have you, everybody, just for a moment, if you're watching, just close your eyes. And I want us to just take a breath together. And then I want you to just send a loving thought out to your loved ones in spirit. And I want you to invite them to draw close, to allow themselves to be heard, allow them to come in nice and clearly to me, and just invite them to be here today. And then the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to just send a loving thought out that whoever needs a reading today, other than myself, will be the one that receives a reading today. And that way you have however many people rooting for you to get a reading, rather than just you rooting for yourself to get a reading. Now everybody's rooting for you to get a reading. And that creates a harmony and energy that is a lot more conducive to communication with the spirit. Okay, awesome. You can go ahead and open your eyes. What we're going to do is I'm going to start to become sensitive and start to describe who I feel stepping forward. So if you just give me a minute or so to just kind of take my attention to the spirit and just start listening to who I start having and describing, and we will see where that takes us. Okay. So I'm just allowing myself to become sensitive. And as I do so, sort of opening my energy to whomever is starting to step forward. Okay. All right. I do feel someone beginning to step forward. I'm just going to let him draw closer, a little bit closer to me, and then I'll start to describe who I feel here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go. I have a gentleman that is stepping forward. I'm just relaxing into his presence. He does feel a little bit older than me. I would want to go somewhere around 50, 60s, somewhere around there. As I feel him stepping in. This does feel to me, there's a fatherly quality to him as I feel him stepping forward. I feel as though he's here for a lady and living. There's a lady here that would be connected to him. And as I feel him stepping forward, there's something that's a bit reserved in some way about his presentation. He's kind of watching and observing. It honestly feels as though that he probably wouldn't have been into this kind of thing when he was living. He feels to me as though he's a little bit more cautious as he's stepping forward. He feels to me as though he would have had quite a bit of struggle in his life. It feels to me not just with his working career. It feels like he's constantly working. It feels like he's always having to think about the next place he's going to make work or make money. This doesn't feel as though his work feels very laborious physically as I talk about him as well. As I feel him too, I feel as though that he would have also spoken another language, like he wouldn't have just spoken English if he spoke English at all. It feels as though he would have spoken another language. Let me just let him step in a little bit more. As I talk about this too, I feel as though that he would have passed relatively younger. He doesn't feel like he makes it into the 70s. He feels to me as though he passes closer to the 60s as I feel him. And I also can feel here with him, there is a strong sense of, I don't know if this is smoking of some sort, but I can get this sort of smell that I can smell with him that feels quite smoky or very, very strong there. And as I'm looking at him too, I can tell his hands are dirty from whatever the work is that he is doing. As I feel him too, I feel as though I need to go overseas. I don't feel like I'm in the United States. I feel as if I'm in another country, and I feel like this makes sense here. I do feel connected to a woman, but for some reason there is this quite a distance or a space between them. So it feels almost as if I need to say he was either away for work quite a bit, or he wasn't as either involved for some reason in the sort of home domestic affairs. I almost feel as if I want to say he comes home, he kind of eats his food, and then he goes to bed and he starts over again. So there's this feeling of not necessarily getting to be very present for who this is for. As I say that too, I also feel as though that this would have been, I want to say, one of 3 siblings is what I want to say. So the person that this is for would have either had 2 or 3 siblings. As I'm feeling this, I'm just going to see if there's any last things before I check in. Let's go ahead and check in there. If you can understand this information, you will put a heart in it. Is there someone that's taking this information now?
Yes, there is someone, D Style, talking about her dad. It passed at 56, so pretty close by. She's the daughter. It was very discreet. What's also matching is that he spoke French, a different, obviously different language. And you mentioned smoking, but she was talking about alcoholism.
Okay.
And of course, something quite interesting, it was his birthday today.
Okay, and then would she understand either the 2 or 3 siblings that would be connected to her as well?
So this time, do you understand 2 or 3 sibling?
I can't tell if she's one of 3 or if she has 3 siblings. That's what I'm not clear on.
If you can let us know this style, if you were 2 sibling or 3 siblings?
Or not at all.
Yes.
So,
oh, okay, perfect. She said, I actually gonna bring this up here.
Sure.
No, I couldn't. She said, I have a brother who passed and 2 sisters as well. So that fills 2 and 3. Yes, 3 siblings.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Okay, so no one else is taking the information, correct? Right
No,
now?
so far only D style. Yes, and it's matching quite a bit.
Okay, great. So let me keep working then here. So I'm going to give you single statements, and then I'm going to check in with you. So if you can just quickly respond with yes or no, if you can understand the information, you don't have to explain anything. You can just say yes, no, I'm not sure, or I need a little bit more information. You can say things like kinda as well. That's okay too, but try to keep it just short and simple. You don't have to give me the information. Just keep it short and simple, okay? So as I kind of reconnect with him, there's this feeling of oh, okay, how do I describe that? There's this feeling as I feel a relationship between you and your father. There is this feeling here of there's a off and on again sort of feeling. So I can feel a bit of this tension, but I can also feel a bit of there's a closeness, and I can feel especially as I got older, the relationship shifts quite a bit. And I have to say, so that's the first thing I want to just get yes or no on. If you could understand the tension bit that goes kind of back and forth, or maybe like even a little bit of connection, disconnection, connection, disconnection. Does that make sense? Um, and then the second thing that I'm feeling that I want to know about is can you also understand that he's quite alone around the time of his passing? I don't feel as though I have a lot of people around me. I feel like I'm by myself. Does any of that make sense?
This style, does that make sense? The aloneness of your dad around his passing, the distance. No, she's saying no for the distance.
Okay, can she understand the tension though, kind of the connection disconnection within the relationship?
What about the disconnect or tension?
It almost feels as though I want to say that there were times in her life where there was like separation or disconnection in some way. Is the way that that feels.
No, that was not the case. We have also another person that's saying that she understands some of this, but maybe I would ask Sue Toffee, does that resonate as well, the distance for you? Because it's also matching a little bit
Yeah.
with the language, the three siblings.
Yeah.
So we're trying to narrow
Yeah.
down.
This is why it's a lot harder when it's
Yeah.
via text. Because there's that
Yes.
lag. So I'm like
Yes.
just trying to stay as focused as I can on
Yes, I know it's hard.
yeah. So it's just as focused as I can on staying with this gentleman till we have the right person. So you should be able to
So
do the last two things that I said also.
yes, Sue Toffee, does that make sense? The distance when he passed and the tension between the family
Particularly in their relationship.
and your relationship? Yeah. Sue Toffee. Yes, distance. Okay, she can take that. He wanted, okay, the dad, I'm gonna show it here.
Sure.
Papa wanted to take me with him and the mom said no. Okay, that aligns pretty well.
Okay. So let me just keep moving. So who's the person that I'm working with? What's their name?
Her name is Sue Toffee.
Okay. Let me just see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna work with Sue Toffee, and we're gonna see if more of this information makes sense as I'm working.
Yes.
Okay. Give me just 1 second as I relax back into him. So let me just see 1 second. Okay. And would you also understand too the feeling of when I say the aloneness, it feels almost as if there either is a split in the family or there's a separation in the family, and I also feel as though there's a feeling of staying in contact with him. Like I still feel like a connection to him, but again, I feel like there's this sort of back and forth feeling that I can feel here with him. The other thing that I can feel, almost if I don't know if you would understand the name COL. I'm just seeing COL. I'm just going to give you that connected to a name here. I don't know if that's a first name or last name, but I can just They're showing me COL, but I'm going to keep relaxing into him because I can feel it a little bit weaker. But let me just relax into him. I also feel it too, just because I'm talking to you, Sue. Would you also have um, a lady in spirit as well that I feel as if I need to talk about? That feels almost like sunflower. She like I keep seeing sunflower, and she makes me feel very, very joyful, very, very caring, very supportive to you. And I feel as if I need to talk about her too. And these two people, like these are the two people that I feel would be connected to you. So father, and then also this very, very warm, sunny lady that I can also feel here too. Does that make sense with you?
So Sue Toffee has been confirming like some of the connection issues, the distance, the tensions. As soon as we hear about the other lady, if there's a lady and then either COL or sunflower, something around that nature.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I can feel here too, because I'm gonna switch just slightly here because I need to. It's not as it's harder to stay connected when I'm having to wait for these things.
Yes.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of give you the information
Yes. Please.
and what I'm experiencing because I feel like if without the quicker sort of communication is just going to make things really, really difficult. So a couple of things that I want to talk about since I'm working with you, Sue. I do want to talk about the
And just
feeling.
sorry to interrupt you, Michael. She's confirming the mom as well, and she said she has a sunshine energy to her. So, yes.
Very much so. So I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to give you what they're giving. I know I want to be more evidential and give you more, but without your instant voice, it makes it really hard to stay connected. So what I want to do is I just want to, because I've kind of brought you out, I'm going to just feel from them what I want to give. If you want to put yes or no in the chat as you go, that's totally fine too. So what I feel as I feel their relationship is it feels to me as though there would have been a separation or a distance or that sort of thing that would have happened there. I also feel here, too, that I want to come to you, Sue, and I want to talk about your. There's this feeling of congratulations from them on getting your life to a much more stable place now than where it has been. And as I feel that, it makes me feel. I almost see you like coasting a bit more here, Sue, in this time period of your life. They're taking me back quite a bit. They're taking me to a bit of, I want to say like 4 years or so ago, where I feel like there would have been a much bigger shift or a change with you that feels like either a loss or like a big shift or transformation that feels related to my family and the people around me. And I feel as if there was a lot of tension or stress around this time period. And I want to talk about with, I think these are your kids who they're showing me now. I don't know if this is 4. I think this might be 4, but I see like within the family unit, I'm very drawn to 4. And I can feel a sense of tension. I can feel a sense of worrying about others and feeling as if you need to take care of them, because the feeling here is the responsibility kind of falling on your shoulders quite a bit within your life as compared to maybe your siblings, where it feels like you're more of the helper, you're more of the one that needs to be taking care of things. So what I feel is that over the last, I don't know if this is 4 or 5 years or more recently, there is this shift here to you kind of finding a more stable coasting sort of place where I feel like things are calmer for you. And I feel as if almost as if, your parents are giving this feeling of congratulations, you're getting there, you're moving forward. Does that make sense? All of that. Parts of that.
We'll wait for just a few words from the Sue Toffee, and then we'll have time to work with another spirit, likely Michael. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can just give us a few words, Sue Toffee, on what you've heard from Michael, and just the feedback on yes, and she's crying emoji. So a lot of it seems to resonate
Okay.
a lot with her.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this, and thank you for connecting. I'm sure she's very very grateful. Um, Thank you, Michael, for this first
Yeah.
spirit. Yeah,
Yeah. It's obviously a
it's
very
not
different
easy.
from
Have you
how I.
done with it? Have you worked with a chat before? Or is it your first time?
Yes, I have definitely worked with the chat before. I think the difference is I think maybe my audience is so used to it, they're just like yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
there's a
And
learning.
it's a
Yes,
learning curve of how to do that. But the fact that you can understand it, that's all I really need.
she's
Um,
very grateful and sending. She put yes, namaste, and a lot of
awesome. Thank
emojis.
you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that for her. Yes.
Yeah, not a problem. So let me see who else is stepping forward, and then that's how we'll kind of. I'll try to keep them shorter as we keep going, so we can get to as many people as we can. Okay. Okay. I do feel a lady coming in. As I feel this lady, she comes with Carol. She talks about Carol or Carol Ann. I couldn't quite get that, but I feel it's either Carol or Carol Ann. So that should connect somewhere around either you or with that name. So Carol Ann. The other thing that I can feel from her is she feels like on the thinner side. She looks thinner to me. She looks all, or she gives me the essence of. Um, Again, another working hard woman who feels like she didn't have a whole lot within her life, but she feels as if she keeps this very positive attitude regardless. And it feels to me as though who she's here for would understand Carol. I'm going to say Carol Ann. I don't know if that's her actual name, but that would understand that this lady would have been the inspirer, or she would have tried to inspire you. And for some reason, she's connecting me to work as I'm talking about this. So I'm not sure if this means that you were connected to her through a work environment or something like this, but it feels to me as though she's really highlighting this work. And I also feel a sense of cleaning or yeah, cleaning. I just feel like I need to talk about cleaning with this. I also feel here too with her, the person that she's here for, another lady. I also feel as though she wants to reference a sister as well, that would also be in spirit. And I feel as if I need to say the sister is also here for this person. So I want to check who can understand any of that.
And Michael, to be clear, the person Carol is the name of the spirit or the person here in the chat?
I don't know.
Okay.
It
Okay.
feels like as long as
I know that. Okay.
Carol makes sense
Okay.
somewhere in that person
So
as
we have a Carol or Carol. We have a Carol, and we also have a mom's best friend who's named Caroline. So
okay.
there's a couple of people that can more or less relate.
And can you
Um,
also understand a sister in the spirit as
oh
well?
yes. So just to recap, there's a connection with the name Carol or Caroline, and there's also it's two sisters in spirit.
Well, let me clarify. There's one lady who is the feeling of, the Carol lady who doesn't actually feel like a family member to the sitter, the person receiving the information, but the sitter should also have a sister that would also be in spirit, is what it feels like, or a
Okay.
sister. Yeah.
Okay. So the the person in the chat has a sister in spirit,
Okay. And
as
also
well
can
as well as this person in spirit, and one of them is connected to the name Carol or Caroline.
perfect. Yeah, that would be ideal.
Okay. So as I summarize this, does it relate to anyone? Grace, you're saying your mom is Carol, but do you have a sister in spirit as well? Okay, Tisha, if you don't have sisters, that might not be you.
It can also be like someone that feels like a sister, someone super, super close, like a sister.
Okay, that's a good. So anyone that can relate to this, a connection with the name Carol or Caroline, a sister or like a sister in spirit.
And then also, the original lady is not family. So she feels to
Ah,
me as though she is not directly connected to the sitter. And also, there's this feeling of the thinness, and this person had to
okay.
work really, really hard to maintain their
Wait.
lifestyle, but was still very positive. There's this feeling of hopefulness or support. And I also feel as if I need to say you would have known this person when you were younger. She feels to me as though she would have been more around when you were younger, is the feeling that I say, or I can feel there.
And the name Carol is important aspect. I so far I don't see anyone who kind of connects with all this information.
Okay.
So it's
If they can take Carol and they can take the description of the thinner person, and we can put the sister over here because I might just be picking up on someone else. But if you can take Carol, if you can take this thinner framed woman who would have been working quite hard, who would have been a very positive presence. She feels as if she's very persevering. And she feels to me as though she would have she very likely was around when you were younger, is the feeling that I get.
okay. Let me bring this one here from Grace. Her mom is Carol. Her sister passed away when she was 40 when she passed, but it's not the it's not a family member that's on in spirit. So that might not be that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay, I have someone here. My aunt, but it's an aunt thinner, a daughter named Caroline, and she has a sister. Okay, that's an interesting connection.
well, that's a lot closer to what I'm feeling. So
Okay,
that would be why I didn't feel like it was family, because it felt like up and to the side. So I can take aunt, that will work for me. Thinner daughter Carol Ann, and then there was a sister that passed before her. So great. So how would I pronounce that name? Gerard?
Gerard, yes.
Gerard. Gerard, if I can work with you, if you can just sort of listen as I am here, and then if you can just put yes or no, I'm going to give you a little bit more information, and then just to make sure that we're with you, and then I will give you whatever message that I can feel here. Okay, so let me just relax into this. So Gerard, I'm just gonna feel this lady. Okay, so with the aunt, can you understand that she would have been? I know you said yes on the thinner side, but can you also understand that she would have been quite? There's something encouraging about her, or there's something that feels almost as if positive, or trying to kind of persevere regardless of what's going on. Can you understand that? Specifically with the aunt. And then also, for some reason, I keep seeing 4.
Yes, she's saying
Okay.
yes.
And then can you understand 4 connected here, maybe on your aunt's level? Almost as if it's like the aunt, also like mom. Actually, this might be on dad's side now that I'm feeling this. But anyway, can you understand like the 4 siblings? Or way?
Yes, she was
One
one
of
of.
Perfect. So I'm definitely with you, Gerard. So I just want to tune in here and see what she's wanting to give. Interestingly, when she comes forward, she talks about your mom. She talks about your mom, and she talks about, she's bringing up the perseverance of mom in some way. And as I talk about that too, I feel as if I need to talk about something mental that I feel here, almost as if I want to talk about something, a challenge mentally here with mom. Does that make sense to you? It's just funny, Nate, because I just want to like go and like sprint.
And
I'm just like, I have to go little piece by little piece. It's like, I'm like, wait, there's so much. I want to say it all.
I think if you get one more yes, you can deliver the message like you did with the previous one, and then yes. Gerard, a mental challenge. Okay, she was paranoid. Okay. Oh, I'm losing the sound, Michael. You're muted, I think. It shows you as muted. No.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I accidentally touched this cord and it apparently unplugged it, so I got everything all messed up. So your mother was her sister-in-law. Okay, perfect. Because I said I felt like it might be on dad's side, and then mom was definitely kind of paranoid. Yeah. So I'm just gonna offer to them. I want to see what they want to bring forward here for you. So give me just 1 second because the little microphone thing got me a little disconnected. So 1 second. Not only was my microphone disconnected, but so was I. So let me see here. Let's relax into her. So okay. Yeah, okay. So the message that I'm feeling here. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna kind of give you everything that I'm experiencing from her. So the first thing that I want to say is, again, it's a feeling of encouragement for you. There's also this feeling of, oh, she's showing me this like opening that's been happening within you, of expanding your awareness, expanding what's possible. And she also wants to kind of calm the fears around kind of the state of the world sort of feeling, because it feels like there's either some tension or anxiety that is around some of the state of the world kind of experience that I feel. There's also this feeling of either someone around you that is recently getting either a dog or a puppy or something like that, because she keeps showing me a dog or a puppy, and whether that's them getting it or that's just something that they've been just really in your energy right now is something that I can also feel. I see you smiling, Nate. Is there something you want to respond to? Is she giving
I was
feedback?
just feeling the energies, but
Oh, okay. And
thank
then
you doing your thing.
okay. And then and yeah, and if she does respond to any of what I'm saying, just feel free to throw it out there while I'm talking. And then the other thing that I can feel here, I just feel as if I need to say it's coming together for you. Like I feel this sense of something coming together. And as I feel that, because yeah, I feel this feeling of coming together, and I feel like it's you and someone else. There's this feeling of like reconciliation or coming back together that I want to say. And it feels like it's with a male, is the feeling that I want to talk about here. And the other thing, not the puppy, but everything else relates. Okay, great. And then I also want to reference oh, hold on, they're bringing me something else. I also want to reference your, she's making me feel this jump or this like promotion feeling that I can feel here for you. But I'm not sure if that specifically works. She's almost making me feel like personally, it just feels like a personal jump or like a personal promotion. Like I feel like you are rising out of something and stepping into something that is a bit more powerful and your own. I'm just gonna see if there's any other things.
It felt like a life upgrade to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a life upgrade is sort of the feeling. And then the other thing that I can feel here too is she's showing me a lot of this like deeper blue feeling, and it's kind of giving me these two different things. She's giving me this deeper blue that makes me feel like I want to talk about coming out of the heaviness or the depression feeling, and also like leaning into my spiritual self. Like I feel like these two pieces that kind of go hand in hand. So there must be some sort of personal work or development thing that you've been working on that I can feel like this opening or this expansion. Maybe depression's a little heavy-handed to say, but it feels to me as like I feel like I'm coming out of something. I'm emerging from that, from my sort of inner work that I've been doing. Does that make sense to you? And also, I'm going to leave that there to see who else is stepping forward.
Okay, she's been feeling blue lately. So
Well, there's the blue.
over the state of
Um,
the world, yes, you
okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for doing this this message to Gerard. Michael, are you up for a last
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, we can do one more for sure. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just see who starts to step forward. Hmm. Okay. All right, I'm getting pulled between two different people. So the one person that I'm feeling is related to almost feels like my partner's brother or my partner's best friend. It sort of feels like that. And then the other person feels like a grandmother. So I'm going to kind of describe both and just see what happens. Because, oh, hold on. There's also a gentleman here that feels like fatherly. And I need to talk about the fatherly person who feels a little bit more withdrawn, a little bit more reserved, or even not even present in some way. And then with the grandmother, this person feels like I was raised by my grandmother. I feel like I was connected to my grandmother, that she was very, very important to me. And I feel like I'm not in this country. I feel like I'm in a different country. And then I also feel here with my partner's brother or my partner's best friend, I feel as though there would have been something sudden or quick, or it just feels like quickness to my passing. It almost feels as if it's a quick decline or a quick something. So I don't know why I have three-ish people here, but I'm going to give that. I need to talk about the
Are they
grandmother.
connected, are the three connected?
I don't know yet. I'm still
Okay.
trying to figure this out. But I need to talk about the grandmother because I feel as though that she's coming forward. There's something to do with music with her, and there's something to do with like teaching you. There's something about teaching you, and I feel as if I need to go spiritual, but also raising you, as if maybe she herself had some sort of spiritual, either whether that's religion or spiritual awareness. I can feel a bit of that. And I also feel from her, there's something really special about the two of you. She really keeps bringing that up. And there's something about also going back to like the basics of like baking and cooking and making things from scratch and really valuing the simple way of making things is kind of the feeling that I get from her. So I know this is a little bit confusing because I kind of went like three different people. Grace, you can understand this grandmother in spirit, that she would have been a little bit more traditional in some way, and she would have had a almost like you like live with the land in some way. There's almost this feeling of you never preach it. Okay, that's great. And then can you understand though the like living off the, it's not literally living off the land, but it's like going back to the simple ways. It sort of feels as if I'm like making, two pennies stretch very, very far and reusing things. Like it feels like that kind of energy.
Oh, okay. She's native, so there's a
Oh,
native origins. Yes.
okay, because I just feel this quality here. And then as I also feel her, can you understand the music? Because I keep feeling music really strongly connected to her. And I also can feel a strong sense of just a great closeness with this relationship. And I feel as if she is I feel as if she wants to come around you right now to remind you of this sort of inner strength within you, because she makes me feel as though um, there's kind of a being on your own feeling, a feeling of either whether that's isolation or being on your own, but there's a feeling of kind of doing it on your own in some way. Can
Did you
you?
mention music, Michael?
Yeah.
They had a piano, they didn't have money, she raised 3 of her grandchildren. That feels very much like this energy.
Yeah, and then can you also understand the feeling of you feeling either isolated or on your own, or feeling like you're having to kind of trudge through it? Because it feels like where you are and with like your siblings, there's sort of a separation, or that we've kind of moved apart. Not necessarily like it's a bad separation, but more so like everybody's just kind of in their own lives right now. Um, and there's just this feeling here of like wanting to feel reconnected. I feel as if I need to say connected to community again. And I also wonder too, or what I can kind of feel is if it's not you that moved, that there would have been a significant person around you that has moved away. So I can keep feeling this sort of separation, or this space between you and this significant person. I can't tell if that was you that moved or that they moved.
She was sent away when she was 9, split with a twin brother, sent to the mother until didn't know until age 9. That makes a lot of sense, Grace.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Grace. What I feel is this feeling of, oh, okay, so she took me in a totally different direction. Okay, we'll follow that. So what she sort of made me feel is you have made the best with what you did, and what you had. She's making me feel that you made the best of what you did and had within this life so far. And she's really acknowledging sort of the persevering through. And would you understand a relationship? This would have been either like a marriage or something like that, that either was particularly difficult, or an early relationship, if it's not a marriage, particularly difficult early relationship that feels maybe borderline inappropriate. Like there's just really a big challenge here with this earlier relationship that she's like proud of you for moving away from or getting out of. Does that make any sense to you? Because I can feel that. Um, and there's this feeling of like arriving somewhere very new. There's a feeling of arriving to somewhere new, but I just feel as though I need to talk about wanting to bring you. You were married and divorced, okay?
Divorce.
And then there's this feeling of wanting to get you to a place of community, and I want to talk about that and like your family and like keeping your family closer, or there's either been discussions of keeping family closer or somehow kind of gathering everybody together, that I can feel here. So I do feel from your grandmother, like remember the wisdom she taught you, or remember the guidance. There's something about guidance and something about the values, and I feel like she would have instilled really powerful values to you. And even though I know she had her own faith, there is this feeling of you finding your own faith, not the same faith that she may have had, but you finding your own belief, your own trust in something bigger and guiding you. And as I talk about that, there's this feeling of looking in the past and sort of seeing how all the pieces fit together within your life. And then the last thing she's just wanting to say, um, it just feels as though I don't know who that is. There's a feeling of, okay, sorry, really quickly. Would it make sense that there was a separation, not a separation, because I know it's not quite, well, yes, it's a separation, but there's something about my father and feeling like I had to discover that relationship, or I had to make a reconnection in some way to that relationship. And I don't feel like I got to, or I feel like there was never a place where I really was able to do that. I don't know. It just feels like I wanted, like there was some part of me that was looking for, there's a search for something. Does that make any sense at all? It feels like a part of me was either searching or looking to connect or find something. That's the energy that I feel.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. The only
Okay.
one that lived in the US, longed for family, no communication, and felt like an outsider, very much so.
Yeah.
It's
And so what I feel from Grandma is that she's just letting you, she's talking about like coming together. There's this feeling of coming together, wanting to come together. And just to know that even though you may be disconnected from all these people, you have your family in spirit that is there, that is with you, that is guiding you. And that she talks about creating and cultivating relational familial things, that comes for you. So I'm going to leave that there if that's okay with you. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Michael. This has been exceptional. I just want to thank you on behalf of my community and my channel. I was just, amazed by the connections people made with their loved ones, thanks to you. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone who's been here. The moderators have shared your website throughout the session, so it will be here for anyone who wants to connect with you directly, whether they want to connect with you for reading or for actually some mentoring and becoming a better medium themselves.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, and I know how hard it is. I imagine how hard it is. I want to say that on my channel, people are used to very different ways of readings, and they're just used to the way that I read, and I take questions and I just go question after question after question. This is a completely different experience, and so I feel like for those of you who are on the chat also understand that there's so many ways to connect to spirits, and that shows you a different way. And so I'm glad that you got that experience as well. Michael, you're always welcome to come on this channel once a month or something, whenever you feel like joining us. I'm sure people will really enjoy it, and I would like to have also more discussions about the spirit world and kind of what spirits have to say, and always fascinated to talk about their lives and how they support us, and how it was amazing to me today to see in all three there was such a powerful message of encouragement, searching themselves. And I feel like even though a number of us didn't get a reading for ourselves specifically, but there was a lot of message about families that were apart and people have to find themselves. And I feel like it's in my readings, I think it feels like it's a theme that's very prominent right now. So I hope people also got a little bit of this. Thank you so very much. Thank you everyone for being here. I will end the stream, and I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you again, Michael.
Thank you. My pleasure. And thanks for your patience, everybody, with figuring out how to work this the best way to make it work. And thank you for being open and sharing. And those of you who participated, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivian and Lisa, for doing the moderation. It's been very helpful, considering it was a different format. Thank you.